The first thing to talk about with Monkey Business is that the song is almost completely composed of inverted power chords. So by that, I mean, instead of having a root fifth, like take for instance this F sharp power chord, second fret of the bottom string, F sharp, C sharp is our fifth. We're going to put the F sharp on top of the C sharp, so we have fifth root. So we get this nice power chord shape now that's really just a perfect fourth interval. But it's still just a power chord, just an inverted one. But that's where that shape is coming from and why we're using that throughout this song. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about this song. We start with a clean tone, obviously. And what we're gonna do is slide into that F sharp power chord, but we're just doing away with that bottom note, right? So the fourth frets on the A and the D. And I like to do it with my third and my pinky. I just find I have a lot of control of the string that way, and it feels nice. But I've noticed that both Scotty Hill and Snake Sabo, they will use their third or even their pinky for these barred chords sometimes. So, you know, you can take your pick, whatever feels comfortable for you. There's not really any right or wrong there. But we're gonna slide into those fourth frets on the A and the D, come up to the barred second frets on the D and the G, and then again the fourth frets on the D and the G. Okay, and another thing to notice here is that I'm hybrid picking these. And I think on the album I've heard interviews where Snake said that he finger picked it. So you could even do away with your pick and just play with your fingers. But just because I like to be prepared for what's coming up with the rest of the song, I hybrid pick it. So use my pick and my middle finger just to pick these dyads. Okay, so then after we do those three, we come back to the barred second frets. And what you're gonna do is hammer onto the third fret of the G string and off really quick. Okay, and then we come back down to our starting dyad there, the fourth frets on the D and the A. Okay. Down to the second frets on the A and the D, back to those fourth frets. Okay. And there's a little bit of a bounce to this when you play it too, specifically like when you come back to those fourth frets after the little, cut it short a little bit by releasing the pressure. You know, maybe not true staccato, but a little bit shorter than just a held eighth note. Okay, and then we want to slide that down and slide back in and just repeat that. And again. And then we come back up to those barred second frets on the D and the G and slide into the fourth frets. And then, so I just hit an open A and D and then to the barred second frets on the A and the D. And that's the whole figure, and we just play that 3 times off of the, for the intro. Okay, and then we get our distorted guitar that comes in, and I'll give the riff that comes in next a quick play, and then we'll break that down. So this next riff that plays is actually the chorus riff, and it's a bit of an odd structured song. We only have 2 choruses in the whole song that actually have vocals over it. We've got a chorus after the 4th verse and right before the bridge, and then another outro double chorus. Those are the only 2 times that the chorus riff plays with vocals. The rest of the time there's no vocals, and this is one of those times. So what we're gonna do is we start with an E power chord, and you're gonna wanna use your volume knob, or if you have a volume pedal, to swell into this E power chord. So hit it, and then swell in, and do a little random slide, maybe add a pick scrape on there if you want, and then we get into that riff. Okay, so again, we have this inverted power chord shape going on. We're gonna start off by barring the second frets on the D and the G, come down to the 4th frets on the A and the D, and then chromatically walk up into those 4th frets by barring second frets on the A and the D, 3rd frets, and then back into those 4th frets. Okay, so far we have this. Now we come back to the second frets on A and D. Now we're gonna put a palm mute on and go Okay, so what we're doing is bouncing back and forth between the 4th and the 2nd frets on the A and the D, and coming back up to that starting dyad on the 2nd fret of the D and the G. Okay, so put that all together, we've got this. Now we can do a little repeating here. Okay, where we hit that 4th fret, 2nd, 3, 4. And now from that point, we go 2 E palm mutes. And we have a little trill on the 2nd and 4th frets of the D string. Okay, so far it's like this. And then we kind of repeat the whole thing starting from that point. So a bit of a run there. And then you want to, so after this, bouncing back and forth between the 4th and the 2nd frets, you want to give a pinch harmonic on the 4th fret of that D string. And then we're going to hit it again, down to the 2nd fret. Come down to 4, 3, 2 on A. And then open A, down to the 2nd fret of the low string. B power chord, E power chord. Okay, so that little run again. Okay, so the whole riff, nice and slow, is going to go like this. And then from there we get into the verse. So here's a quick playthrough of that and we'll break it down. With the verse, once again, we're using our inverted power chord shape. And the thing to really notice about the verse is they take on a swing feel here. And so it's got a real groove to it because it's slightly swung. It's not like a hard swing feel, but there is a swing to it. So if to really lock into that groove, you're going to want to have that swing feel. So we start off with barred, or the 4th frets on the A and the D, down to the 2nd. Then back to the 4ths and hit that twice. Then up to the 2nd frets on the D and the G. And then we're going to go back to the 4th and the 2nd frets on the A and the D again, but this time we bounce back and forth. Okay, and then we come up to the 4th frets on the D and the G, and we slide them up to the 5th and back. And now I've seen some people and some tabs even say to bend them, but I'm pretty sure that when they played it, it was being slid. Okay, and when I see live footage, they're sliding it. I've never actually seen them do the bending, but if you want to do the bend, it's pretty cool too, so you can do that. But so far we've got this. Back to the 2nd frets there. And just take note of where those palm mutes are. Palm mute all of this work that we're doing on the A and the D strings. And then you can take it off and then back on. And then off for that slide again. And then we come back down to 4, 2, 4, 4. Up to the 2nd, so that's the same as what we had in the first couple of beats. And then we're gonna finish up the first half of this riff. Okay, so how I play this is I go 4, 2, 4, and then I hit an open A. It would be as I chromatically walk up the 2, 3, and 4 barred frets there. Okay, so the first half of this riff looks like this, nice and slow. Okay, then the second half of the riff starts off all the same. And then just have a slightly different ending. I come down and hit the 4th frets twice, and then just lightly touch the strings as I just do some chucks in there. And then we want to end it with an E power chord is what we end on, okay? The whole verse riff, nice and slow for you, is going to look like this. And then after the first verse, we get into the chorus riff. We only have 2 bars of it before quickly jumping into another verse. However, I just want to point this out because it's very subtly slightly different. We do this. Okay, it's just a little bit different where that trill comes in. It's actually, we're going to trill right on beat 3, not on beat 4 like we do in the actual chorus riff. So we start off the same. We only come up to that 3rd fret. Once we get there, then we jump up and trill between that 2nd and 4th fret for a whole beat. And just put in a random slide on beat 4 right into a verse. So that little connecting riff here goes like this. Okay, and on the recording, they harmonize that little trill too. One of them is doing the trill on the 2nd and 4th frets on the D string, and the other guy is playing the 2nd and 4th frets on the G string. So it just kind of has that cool harmony effect. So if you've got dual guitars, you're playing this live, you'll probably want to duplicate that. You know, one of you take the D string, the other take the G string. So there is that just slight little difference there with that little 2-bar riff, and then you're back into another verse. And then the next part that we have to talk about is a pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus riff sounds like this, and I'll break it down for you. Okay, the pre-chorus riff, we're using some standard power chords here for this. And it's probably the easiest riff that we've had so far. We start off with a B power chord, 2nd fret of the A string, then E and A. And now we have this. Okay, so what we're doing is we're hitting an open E on the bottom string and hammering to F sharp on the 2nd fret. And then do 2 palm mutes. Now we're going to do a string skip up to the 2nd fret of the D string, just for one quick note, and then we come back to the 2nd fret on the E string. And then we repeat that. Okay? And then we can repeat this whole thing starting with the B. B, E, A. Okay, and then we come back up to the B again. E. Just do a random slide. Rather than going to the A on beat 4, we do a random slide. And then we have, we're walking down chromatically from the 4th fret here, C sharp, down to the 2nd fret. And then A, B, E, F sharp. With a little bass run. So we hit that F sharp 3 times. And then we want to hit the 3rd fret on the A string and pull off to the 2nd and the open. Come back to the 2nd open, down to the 2nd open on the low string. Okay? And then right into our chorus riff out of that. Now that goes around again. We have a 4th verse, pre-chorus, and then after that we get the chorus that has the vocals. And that vocal chorus, we play the chorus riff twice, and then we get into a little 2-bar connector into the bridge. So I'm just going to play that chorus for you so that you know exactly what I'm talking about, and then we'll quickly break that down and then get into our funky bridge. Okay, so like I said, that chorus is just the chorus riff that we've already learned, doubled up, played twice. And then to get out of that into our bridge, we're going to do this. Okay, so we've already covered that in the pre-chorus, but just to, you know, they kind of funk it up a bit by putting a couple of ticks, some dead chuckas there right before the first power chord hits. So we're starting with that F sharp power chord, but just rub some dead strings there by lightly touching them with your fingers, with your fretting hand. And then we want to double that up, do it again. And then you want to hit the second fret again to an E power chord, right? So that second time. And then we're into our funky clean tone bridge again. So here that is, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so back to our clean tone for this really cool funky bridge section. Really nice breakdown. So to really get it funky and in the groove, you're going to want to get some dead strings in here. So we start off with an open to 2 on the bottom string. And now I get a couple of dead strings in there by releasing the pressure. Okay, so you go 0 to 2, a couple of dead strings on that low string. And then I come up. So I pull off between 4 to 2 on the A string, another dead string in there, and then the second fret on the D string. And then 4 to 2 on the D string, open A, and then I kind of palm mute that. And if you got another dead string in there too, that would work. And then slide from 2 to 4 on the A, and then 2 and 2 on the D and the G. Okay, so nice and slow. So we start off the next measure with the same. And then we want to grab the 4th frets on the G and the B and quickly slide up to 5 and back. And then we pull off to the 2nd fret on the G string. And then 4 to 2 on G and 4 to 2 on D. So that second measure looks like this. Okay, and another thing to note too, to make that little dyad, that sliding dyad pop, I hybrid pick that, really snap with my middle finger on the B string. Then the 3rd measure is the exact same as the 1st measure. And then we get into this sliding 6th back and forth. Okay, and it's not too bad to pull off. Start with your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Slide up to 4. And then we're going to use our 3rd finger to hit the 4th fret of the B string. Come back to the D string, 4, and slide back to 2. And once you've planted your 3rd finger on the B string, just leave them. So you're not going to be lifting fingers or anything. It's just... and then they're just going to slide back and forth. And it's just really plucking. And I hybrid pick this whole thing too. So all the notes on the D string, I pick with my pick. And the B string, I pick with my middle finger to really get it, that country kind of twang, funky sound. So yeah, we'll start on the D string, 2 to 4. Grab the 4th fret of the B string. Back to the D string, 4 to 2. Hit that B string again. Then the D string, B string. Back on the D string. Now palm mute the 2nd fret. And snap the B string one last time. So the tricky thing about this lick is it's 16th notes, and so it doesn't really fall squarely on the beat that is really easy to feel. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Okay, so you're ending right on beat 4. So nice and slow, that lick goes like this. Okay, so now that we've covered the first half of this riff, the first 4 measures goes like this. And then we get into the next 4 measures of the bridge, and they're the exact same as the first 4. We just have to substitute that last little fill. Instead of doing this sliding 6 thing, we've got a new one. Okay, so you do this all over again. And then we get into this. Okay, so we're going to go from the 4th fret on the G string up to the 5th, get the 5th on the B, back to the G string. And that's kind of quick. You want to hit the 5, slide down to 4, pull off to 2, and then we're going to go 4 to 2, pull off again, down to 4 on the D string. And then we come back up to the G string and do a hammer between 2 and 3, hammer pull, and then walk down 4-2, 4-2 on the D and the A. So nice and slow. Right, and the timing on that, the first 16th note is a rest. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. Okay, so even though I'm kind of throwing in 3 quick notes here and there, I'm still just thinking 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. And then that way you can stay in time. And then right back into it. And the final time that it plays, we only play the first 3 measures, which is the exact same as the 3 that we've played for the first 2 rotations. And then the 4th measure, which has been our fills, you know, the first time we had that sliding 6 lick, the second time we had this, that thing. The 4th time, the distortion kicks in, and then we chug on the F sharp for a full measure, just 16th notes, and just down pick that. Okay, and then we get into the solo, and let's cover the rhythm guitar underneath the solo first, because we've pretty much covered it. There's just one little minor difference between what goes on underneath the solo and the pre-chorus. So I'll quickly give that a playthrough so you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll quickly cover it for you. So as you can see, the progression underneath the solo is the same as the pre-chorus progression, and it's the same riff, except for that one little bar that happens over top of the F sharp. Instead of doing this, we now have this. Okay, so we're just doing this inverted power chord thing. Start on your 4th frets, down to the 2nd frets on that A and the D, and back to the 4th frets. Start on the 2nd, and we're just bouncing back and forth between the 4th and the 2nd, right? And that's all there is to that. Everything else is the exact same as what we already covered in the pre-chorus. So that pretty much sums up the song. The only other thing that we have to talk about is the very outro. So the outro, we have a double chorus, and it's actually a bit longer than 2 choruses, more like 2.5 choruses. And the only thing that you have to know is to finish that, we're just gonna go quickly tack on an F sharp and an E at the very end to finish the song. So the last rotation and outro of the song for that last outro chorus is gonna look like this. And there you have the rhythm track to Monkey Business. Let's do the lead. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I hope that this video is answering all the questions that you've had about Skid Row's monkey business. If you love Skid Row, then like and subscribe because I got a lot more of their stuff coming. A little bit about what you'll find on this channel is a lot of guitar-centered music, 80s hair metal and hard rock. I'm covering every single Metallica song from every studio album, so you don't want to miss those epic lessons. Everything comes with full complete tab right on the screen, and you can even download them from my website a lot of the time. I don't have all of them available just yet, but I'm getting to it. You can download them from my website if you choose. And now that I'm sure I've convinced you to subscribe, let's get back at it. We start the solo off with a pick slide, and then we're going to grab the 4th fret on the G and the B strings and bend those twice. Then the 2nd fret on the G string, come down to the D string, 4, 2, 4. Okay, now I'm starting in the with the bridge pickup to get all these pinch harmonics that they have in the beginning to really pop out easier. So you probably want to do that as well, and then I'll show you where I flick it up to the neck pickup because you can pinch a lot of these notes, right? Get them to really squeal. Now, when we're on that 4th fret, we're going to pull back off to 2 and then hammer from 2 to 4 on the A string. Okay? Now come up to the barred 2nd frets on the G and the B, then back to the D string 4th fret, back up to those barred 2nd frets, and then the 4th fret on the B string. And then we have on the G string. Then we have this little run on the G string. Okay, so that's a quick little grace note hammer from 4 to 5, back to 4, 2, 4, 2, 4 down on the D string, and then bend the 4th fret on the G string and give it a pinch harmonic. Okay, so the whole first little phrase goes like this. Then we slide up to the 14th position. And we were really just starting, this song's in F sharp minor. So we were starting in that home bass pentatonic, and we're just going up into the home bass pentatonic an octave higher, okay? So we're in a scale that's easily recognizable. Okay, so what we do next is slide into 16 on the D string, come up to 14 on G, back to that 16th fret, 17 on G, and then bend 16.5 step. And then we're going to come up to the high string, 14, the B string, 17, and then we're going to pre-bend that and release it, and try to give it a pinch harmonic like they do if you can. Okay, so that little bit of a phrase so far goes like this. Okay, and then we slide back into 16 on D again, 14, 16 on D, back up to 14 on G, and then bend the 17th fret on B. Okay, so you want to do a quick bend release, and then nudge it again just a little bit. Okay, and now this is where I flick my selector switch up to the neck position, get a slightly warmer sound. Okay, so this next phrase, we're going to slide into 16 on G, up to 14 on the high string, and then pick 17, 14 on B, and we're going to trill, do 2 hammer pulls when you hit that 14th fret, do 2 hammer pulls from the 16th fret. And then we come down to the G string, hit 17. Now this, you want a hybrid pick with this lick as well to get it to really pop and sound just like it is on the album. We have this so far. Come back up and hit the 14th fret on the B string and snap that with your middle finger. Now pull off between 17, 16, 14 on the G string. Then I come down 16 on D, roll that 2nd finger and hybrid pick the 16th fret on G, come back to the 16th fret on the D string, and hybrid pick the 14th fret on G. So all together. And then we just have some unison bends. Just chromatically falling down to go along with these chords. C sharp, C, B. So we're just getting the 14th fret on B, bending the 16th fret up a whole step on G, come down a half step, and do it one final one on the 12th fret and 14. And then you're going to slide that, and we're going to get into the last little bit of the solo. And we're kind of just moving a shape up. We slide into the 9th fret on G, come up to the B string, 7, 10, and 7. So we're just trilling between 7 and 10. Okay. Now this is slightly different. If kind of experimented just sliding the same shape up, but if you do that and slide into 12 and do that between 10 and 13, it sounds a little off. That 12th fret is really noticeable and out. So you want to slide into 11 and then hit 10 and 13. Okay, so we have these. Now, you want to slide all the way up to 16 on G and trill between 14 and 17. And now we're going to switch string sets up to the B and the E, slide into 17 on B, and then 14 and 17 on E. Okay, so now we're kind of done climbing up the neck like that. So we've got this. Now we've got this. Okay, so what that is, we slide into 17, and then we want to do a quick little 19, 20, 19, 17. So you're kind of just doing that really quick where you're hammering and pulling. Come down to the B string, 19, 17, back to 19, up to 17 on the high string again, pull off between 19 and 17, B string, 19, 17, repeat that 17th fret, and bend 20. Random slide on those bottom strings. So it's a nice short solo. I'll just play the whole thing really slow for you here so that you've got it. And that's pretty much the song. Here we go. So that's how you play Monkey Business on guitar by Skid Row, guys. Hope you really like this lesson. If you love Skid Row and want to learn more of their stuff, then check out this other Skid Row song that I did a little while ago, and there'll be plenty more coming because I'm a huge 80s fan. I love this stuff, so can't get enough of it. Remember to like and subscribe, share this with all your guitar playing buddies, and I'm going to see you next time.